Post details an elderly, egotistical president shielded from reality by a slavish coterie of loyalists. Never said that word before. So ailing, mendacious, egotistical, and that's from media outlets that spent 4 years smooching Biden's wrinkly ass. They were so far up his butt, I'm surprised they didn't diagnose the cancer.
Okay, so Greg Gutfeld just went off on Joe Biden, and it was crazy. He made fun of how Joe gets lost, forgets stuff, waves at nothing, and turned it all into a big joke, and nothing could save Joe from it. And if you thought late night shows were boring, Greg just made them fun again with the funniest roast ever.
President Biden boasting about how you should be thanking him this Thanksgiving.
Well, this past week, as Americans gathered around their own kitchen tables for Thanksgiving dinner, that was our goal, to give them a little more breathing room. From turkey to air travel to tank of gas.
Greg Gutfeld didn't come to play. He showed up throwing jokes like knives, and they were sharp and savage, and his main target was Joe Biden, who stood there looking all confused, like he forgot where he was, and Greg didn't even waste time. He just went in and said Joe ain't leading anything. He's more like a sleepy mascot for stuff not even his own team understands.
Train wreck of a fact check. Yes, Reuters invites hilarity by fact-checking obvious parody, telling its readers no such luck. Biden doesn't really chase the ice cream truck. So it's no secret the big guy enjoys his ice cream. That's just one of the reasons why Dr. Jill calls him Mr. Softy.
Greg Gutfeld said Biden running the country feels like watching a confused grandpa who thinks he's in charge, and he joked Joe's like that uncle who gets lost at home but still wants to drive everyone. And the worst part is Joe really thinks he knows what he's doing. And Greg laughed how Joe talks big while looking like he lost his teeth.
This big ad buy comes one day before Robert Hur will testify about his report claiming that Joe is an elderly man with a poor memory. Biden will be taking his angry man shtick on tour and hit 3 swing states this week. Over the weekend, he gave us a preview of what senile moments you can expect.
Greg joked that listening to Biden talk is like watching someone build IKEA stuff with no clue. He starts with inflation and ends up talking about some cornfield, and his words sound all mixed up like old slogans and random stories thrown together.
He's actually lobbying Baskins and Robbins to make a flavor based on little girl shampoo. Although, when Joe says sprinkles, it means call the urologist.
Greg said Biden's pauses feel like a video stuck loading, like you don't know if he'll finish talking or just shut down. Sometimes he whispers like he's sharing a big secret. Other times he yells random words like he's been taken over by a word ghost.
Joe raided Mar-a-Lago with the feds. Now he gets a taste of his own meds. That's good. Yeah. Stop it! You're biting into the time. The White House admits that more classified documents were found, this time at one of Biden's homes in Delaware and in his garage. But it's cool, man, because that garage was totally locked.
Greg Gutfeld said picking Biden as president is like picking a screensaver. It looks like something's going on, but really nothing's happening, just colors floating around. He joked that Joe's biggest threat isn't other countries, it's just remembering where he is. Like he walks into a room, forgets why he's there, but still signs important papers and talks about big world stuff, and Greg laughed, saying under Joe eggs cost a fortune and gas needs a budget plan. And when Joe says the economy is strong, it's like a magician saying the rabbit's in the hat while it's clearly hopping away. And he said Joe thinks just nodding and squinting means he fixed everything.
Pennsylvania, I have a message for you. Send me to Congress that I can support this right, and I promise you, if we take back Congress, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
Biden could show America his razor-sharp mind by debating Donald Trump, but so far, he refuses to commit.
Mr. President, will you commit to a debate with former President Trump?
It depends on his behavior.
Greg said Biden's way of fixing big problems is mumbling at town halls, then walking off like a confused dad, and he joked that letting Biden lead is like using a lava lamp to power a city looks cool but useless and messy. He made fun of Joe shaking hands with no one talking to air and freezing like someone hit pause, and said it feels more like a weekend at Bernie's with our money, and the only thing improving is how fast his team cleans up after after every speech.
Oh, the cold, sweet treat is perfect for cooling down after a long, hot, sweaty day of aimlessly drifting around the White House like a tumbleweed. But now Reuters, which claims to be a news outlet, is getting mocked online for actually fact-checking a clearly edited video of Biden getting distracted by an ice cream truck and walking out of frame.
Greg said Biden handles foreign stuff like telling bedtime stories to wild animals, and other countries don't fear him. They just watch like he's a science experiment. And Greg joked, the border crisis is like a magic trick, because Joe acts like it's not even there while it's on TV, and he said under Joe, safety is just a vibe, while Joe sips oatmeal and people are stuck with huge bills hoping the power stays on.
She's gonna win.
Joe Biden was the ultimate catfish.
Yeah.
We were all online being told, oh, this is a congenial centrist. Yeah, swipe right. I don't know how to do these dating apps.
Yeah.
But anyway, then you find out it's not him at all, but some guy in a bathrobe smoking meth.
Yeah.
God, how many times has that happened to me?
Greg joked that giving Biden shades and a jog doesn't fix anything. It just makes him look like he got lost from a jazz show. Then he said Joe's student loan plan is just fake hero stuff getting blocked by courts while he waits for magic money. And Greg laughed that Joe runs the economy like Monopoly, but forgot he already lost and said being around for 40 years doesn't mean you were leading, just means you were standing there while others worked.
Alzer and Chancellor Farabee, thank you for joining us as well. And for families across the country, the school year.
That's hilarious. I would say the footage does seem manipulated. There's no way Joe can move that fast. But give him a break, he's got oil cancer.
Greg said Biden acts like a unifier. While calling half the country extreme, which is like inviting family over, then roasting their hair, their kids, and their car before dinner, and Greg joked, you can't fix a country while pointing fingers, and the only thing Joe united is everyone wanting to mute political ads forever. And he ended by saying Joe is the first president who can fall asleep in a meeting, and people call it calm leadership, and now even blinking the right way is seen as progress. And Greg said this isn't leadership, it's just everyone lowering the bar, and America didn't pick a leader. They just got stuck with a long, awkward voicemail from someone who forgot. They already left one and Greg's not done yet. The jokes just keep growing and he's still holding that mic tight.
The Justice Department's appointing a special counsel to review whether Biden mishandled classified info. So how is the White House dealing with this? Come on, just gotta trust the process.
This is an ongoing process under the review of the Department of Justice. We're going to respect the process, and we're just going to allow the process to continue. Let the process continue. It's an ongoing process. I am genuinely saying to you, there is an ongoing process. This is all part of the Justice Department process as part of that process. And I said because there was a process of justice throughout this process, we just laid out the process that was taken, and that is the process.
Yeah. Sure.
Greg said Biden's presidency feels like a long, boring airport layover that no one expected, where nothing works and everyone's just stuck trying to make it through. And he said Joe's policy updates are like flight delay announcements, always delivered with a fake smile. Then everything crashes into chaos. 1 minute, it's a big talk about saving the planet. Next minute, Joe's whispering something about unity while ignoring disasters happening in real time. Greg joked that under Biden, the White House has become like a live version of Weekend at Bernie, except instead of cool sunglasses and beach parties, we get cue cards, confused press people, and non-stop damage control like it's some Olympic game. And every time Joe turns to leave a stage, there's a 50-50 chance he's about to walk into a drum set or knock over a flag. And still the reporters clap like he just invented something genius. And Greg couldn't stop laughing at how Joe always tries to act like he understands regular folks when it's clear he's just playing a part that doesn't fit anymore.
But what if the Biden cover-up was by design, orchestrated to protect not the president, but to enable a radical agenda? Anyone could tell Joe was feeble. But what if Biden's decline wasn't caused by disability, but by debility, meaning he was purposely kept exhausted, confused, and miserable, like an overnight shift worker or a Fox and Friends viewer?
Greg laughed, saying Joe tries so hard to sound like he's just a normal blue-collar guy, but then he's getting picked up in blacked-out SUVs heading to billion-dollar fundraisers with rich donors and sipping fancy drinks while sniffing those expensive candles struggles back home in Delaware. And Greg said Joe talking about the struggles of working class folks is like a reality TV star claiming they understand what it's like to be homeless just because they once stayed a single night at a Motel 6. It's all pretend. It's all show no real connection to the actual problems people face every day. And then Greg ripped into those super awkward, super cringy social media videos Joe's team keeps posting where he's either holding ice cream like it's a magical symbol of connection or squinting into the camera like he's trying to figure out what year it is. And Greg joked, those clips don't look like leadership. They look like retirement home commercials trying to go viral. And he said if Joe ever joined a TikTok challenge, it wouldn't be something fun. It would be called Find the Exit because the poor guy can't even remember which way to walk half the time, and while the audience laughed, Greg just grinned because all of this wasn't just comedy, it was something deeper. It was the country using humor as a way to breathe through the madness, like people weren't laughing to be cruel, they were laughing because everything had become so strange and confusing and exhausting that jokes were the only way left to deal with it. Greg wasn't just making people laugh, he was saying the things everyone was thinking but didn't know how to say, and that's why the crowd couldn't stop watching, because in that moment they were all finally able to let go and laugh through the storm together.